The humble zombie summon. It doesn't seem like it'd be that good considering it's just zombies, but it's a lot better than you'd think. And in fact, it's not entirely uncommon to see them doing over 2,000 damage per cast. However, if you want to see your zombies succeed, you have to be very careful about how you cast this spell. But before we get into that, Tohei, the sponsor of this video. They sell watches with incredibly soft handmade leather straps, and if you're interested in getting one 10% off, you can use code Enticity using the link below. But back to zombie summons, let's quickly go over what this spell does. It's 4 winds of magic, and obviously you can summon zombies. But if you're interested in a little bit more damage, you can overcast for skeletons. However, since the zombies can be incredibly cost efficient when it comes to HP, we're going to be focusing mainly on the normal cast. And something interesting about the spell, it actually has a rather long summoning animation, with the zombies taking a few seconds to pull themselves out of the ground. And even worse, they're still attackable during this animation. But here's the thing, it might be worth it to you to cast it on top of units anyways, because as it turns out, the full surround can deal almost 1,000 damage to lightly armored infantry. And this means you're dealing almost 200 damage per winds of magic. And this ends up being incredibly cost efficient. Like if we compare it to Fate of Buna, a fairly cost efficient direct damage spell, it's only dealing 170 damage per winds of magic. And it's even comparable to Invocation of Nahak, which when cast normally on infantry only gets you 240 HP per winds of magic. But it doesn't end there either. You can also summon zombies in front of infantry to stall them about 30 seconds longer, and it turns out the spell's also very good versus cavalry. All you have to do is wait for the cavalry to complete their charge, and a zombie summon will make it incredibly hard for them to disengage. And even better, against cavalry with very little armor, you can still expect about 1,000 damage. And this is against Heartseekers of Slanesh too, an extremely elite unit. When casting on skirmish cavalry, it can occasionally be twice as good, in some cases dealing upwards of 4,000 damage if the cavalry is not able to escape. Now of course your mileage may vary, but it's a pretty safe bet you'll deal at least 1,500 damage if you can nail the zombie summon on top of the unit. So overall, the spell is probably better than you thought. On top of being extremely good tactically, it's also an incredibly cost efficient damage spell if you can cast it on the right targets. Oh, and for those of you wondering how good skeleton summons are for 2 more winds of magic, here's them cast directly on top of Cold One Riders. By the time they've disintegrated, they've already brought the cavalry down to half HP.